All right. Hello, hello. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. We're really excited. So, this is the first New York, Connecticut region master networks collaboration and connection. So, welcome, welcome. This is the first one that we're going to be speaking with some friends of ours that have collaborated together, and we wanted to catch the story of that. So hopefully you'll hang on. It's going to be 30 minutes, and we're going to hear not only about their business, the collaboration, and then how do you get in touch with them? Because these are people, honestly, that you want to get in touch with. So I'd like to say welcome. Stephanie Bellafato is here. She is on the culture and retention regional advisory board with me. Thank you, Stephanie, for everything you do. She's helping me out with these. It was really her idea to say, hey, we have to capture these. So it just by virtue of that, I was like, please come on and help me with this, Stephanie. Then I'd like to thank Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, is here, and also Cameron Toth of BizDev Live, which he'll talk to you about, but also Toth event staffing. So why don't we hear about their business, and then we'll talk about the collaboration. Steve, you want to go ahead?
Sure. So, I have to kind of give a little bit of my story real briefly. Started my first company out of college in advertising. My dad was an entrepreneur at a liquor store, dissuaded me from going into that. Wound up having a very illustrious career in advertising, including having an office in New York City, and then shifted over into Fairfield County, Westchester County with my emphasis in that career. Then the economy shifted, things dried up, and I was out of work, and met a very successful entrepreneur who took me under his wing and got me on a path of self-development, and was able to reinvent myself. And some reason, a shy introverted kid from the Bronx went into sales to make it worse, copier sales. I'm not sure why a crazy guy would do that, but I did, and did very well at it. Today, amongst other things, I am a business automation consultant. I work with a company called Quadient. We help companies streamline and automate how we communicate and connect with our clients, leveraging artificial intelligence with both hardware and software. And it's a lot of fun. But obviously, there's different parts to my life today. I think because of what happened back when the economy shifted, it kind of got me, you know what, I should probably keep my options open and diversify and have my hands in a few things. And I'm probably ADHD undiagnosed besides all my other learning disabilities. So I like to be very productive. I don't say busy anymore, but definitely very productive. So I know we're going to be talking about the collaboration I'm doing with Cameron, but as you can see on the screen, Master Connection series, LinkedIn live show, and amongst other things, blessed to be on, networking with you, Tina, with Master Networks. And that's been a ton of fun. And obviously Stephanie and all the other things I have going on in my life. So that's a little bit about me.
We can't thank you enough for everything that you do, and you really are the master connector. So again, we'll talk about how to connect with you guys later. Cameron, you want to go ahead and talk about what you're doing? I think you're on.
He's muted right now, so Cameron, you need to.
Oh.
There you go. There you go.
Noticing my camera, as it has been doing lately, is on delay. So switching up the cameras here to make sure the fun works here. There we go.
There you go.
There you go. Now,
so
you're good.
I have a couple of companies. Toth Event Staffing has been the one that I've been running for the last 10 years. And obviously, Tina is very familiar with, Stephanie is very familiar with, and Steve is very familiar with the idea that it's been challenging in the hospitality industry over the last 18 months. We're very excited that we got some big events coming on in September. June was great. July and August have been hit or miss. We're normally kind of seasonal, but the challenge has been corporate. So we're hopeful that, with the FDA approving the vaccine and everybody jumping on board, that means that this fourth quarter of 2021 will be a little bit more exciting in terms of corporate bookings and that sort of thing, and get Toth Event Staffing on track. But as I've talked about a lot over the last 18 months, and Tina's talked to me a lot about, and kind of said, "Oh man, Cameron, I'm so sorry. This industry,
double whammy, event staffing.
It's a tough world to be in right now, but It's been a great opportunity to pivot. Part of that story is something we'll talk about today in this Master Connection series show. And part of the reason that Steve gave me a call in the first place is I started this thing called BizDev Live. And that was all about helping entrepreneurs and business owners succeed in the marketplace, learning, taking learnings from all my many challenges and failures, including not having diversified into a lot of other places that I probably could have before the pandemic. Great lesson learned as I was kind of looking back. Wow, if I would have done this here, done that there. So really an opportunity for people to seek some advice, create some community. And I think I've done that with BizDev Live, and we've broken some great ground with Master Connection series with the community that we've developed there.
So why don't we talk a little bit about that? What is yours and Steve's collaboration exactly? If you could share a little bit about that. And what prompted you to contact Tina and I to do this?
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. Cameron alluded to it, right? So Cameron and I met through my good friend, Rob Genovese, who I've known for over 20 years. I had noticed online on LinkedIn how he was doing a lot of videos. I was impressed with what he was doing. He and I had a conversation. We connected. We hadn't spoken in probably 8 years at that point. We connected, and he told me about, hey, I don't know if it was that day or a couple of weeks later. Hey, why don't you, check out his networking group that I'm a part of? And I'm like, okay, sure. I mean, I had been done the other networking group that everyone knows that begins with a B. Didn't like it anymore, so I was open and went to the Mount Pleasant chapter, and I met some incredible people who I believe will be lifelong friends today. And I met Cameron, and Cameron and I feel like we connected, we clicked. We had at least one Zoom call before Zoom was popular pre-pandemic, and then he invited me. He's gracious to invite me on the link on his Master Connection. A BizDev Live show.
Live, yeah.
And I was like, wow, this guy is unbelievably impressive. The show was incredible. To me, I tell people it was like network TV production quality. I was like, wow. And so that always impressed me. And then when I kind of randomly, just for kicks and giggles, applied for LinkedIn Live and got approved 5 weeks later, I'm like, okay, I need to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with this. But I was completely over my head with it. And I reached out. I said, all right, Cameron, hey, what am I going to do with this thing? I had him like completely over my head. He's like, dude, I've been trying to get on LinkedIn Live. I think you said to me for 2 years now, we should collaborate.
That's hysterical.
That's what happened.
That's awesome.
I had been trying to get on for a while at that point, and it took me another, 3-4 months before or longer before they finally have me, let me have access to it. So when he reached out, I was like, let's go, let's do it.
Yeah. And so tell us about like, what is it that you're doing with the LinkedIn Lives?
Yeah. So, I honestly, again, I've learned a lot from Cameron. He says he learned a lot from me, but I've learned a lot from Cameron. I really have. And I thought, well, I can't go on the show alone. I don't see myself. I'm not the kind of guy that could talk for an hour. Now I'm getting better at that, but I didn't feel like I could. And so, I'm like, all right, maybe Cameron, would like kind of interview me, or I was like, what is, he's like, and he was really, he has got great people skills, Cameron. You got great people skills. So he's like, well, what would be really good? He didn't say that's a stupid idea or anything, but it probably was. But he's like, you should think about, let's get maybe some panelists on the show, and we could kind of banter back and forth, and you can give your thoughts and things, and I'm like, okay, that's a great idea. And so I just went out there. I looked at some people on LinkedIn that had pretty large followings, and I started sending messages, and people were interested, and we got some really good people on the show. And so each week, I would come up with these topics in my brain, like these interesting things that I thought were relevant for me, I thought would be relevant for people. And we picked a topic, and we brought panelists on that were hopefully could speak to those topics pretty thorough. They were experts in certain areas, or maybe not experts, but they were really knowledgeable in those areas through just life experience. And we started to have these conversations, and we got great engagement. People seem to really enjoy it. We have people coming back, and it's been tremendous. So that was really it. I mean, it's a topic. Each topic, there's no like. People ask me, well, what do you like? Are you talking about networking? No, it's just in general. And you hear us talk a lot about on the show. We just want to be the light. We want to inspire people. We want to be, find ways to add value and help encourage people. And that could be a lot of things. So it's not one thing or another. The common theme is, I think we always want to uplift and encourage. So, Karen, what are your thoughts? I mean,
well, this is a master network story. So going back a little bit to the beginning of Steve and I's story, we connected. This was like pre-pandemic, so we hadn't gotten to March 2020 yet, right? So the world was still regular. I was in my office in the Chrysler building across from Grand Central. We had a meeting. We were talking. I was between interviews. I interview staff down there in the city for city gigs, and we were on the phone, and we're chatting. And now there wasn't really any direct business that Steve was probably going to get from me, and there wasn't any direct necessarily business I was going to get. But this is the reason why you connect with people, because months later, we ended up creating this thing together. And is money rolling in or falling from the sky on? No, not necessarily, but this is, how things get started and rolling. We're having a great time with it. It helps with other things that we're doing, the experience piece of it. I was watching a gentleman show this 13-year-old how to, start fixing a car this morning as I was dropping my car. You got to learn how to do things somewhere. And Tina kind of got us all on board with Zoom. Everybody got their education in Zoom real quick. We moved 1 week from a physical
in-person
meeting to Zoom meeting. So we were getting that. And I took that and ran with it. So it's a real master network story. I got into doing stuff and chats with Chaz, right? So Chaz Wilson was doing this late night thing where he was bringing the community together, a lot of leaders from different chapters on, and that was creating a lot, and that was on Facebook. And there was creating a lot of attention. And so when Steve gave me the call in November of 2020, I was like, and he said, well, do you want, I was like, you know what? I've seen something that worked really well, that got a lot of community involvement. I kind of know where your head is at with this. I think this might be the way to go if we're trying to make some noise, get some attention, and really lift people up and do something that's worthwhile and that's going to be fun for us to actually interact and engage with people. And that's what it's become. I mean, it's just, you strike enough, right? You get enough pots cooking on the stove, something turns out good and delicious and all that. And that's how this is.
You guys have been doing a great job. I do as often as I can. I try to participate in their LinkedIn lives, and they get some great panelists, and it's a whole lot of fun. And I love it how Cameron throws it over to this one and then throws it back to Steve, and it is a really nice. They do some really nice collaborations and have some great panelists on there. So.
Well, and credit to you, right? So me and Steve, I think we're pretty educated guys. We talk a good game, but it's the community. It's the people that show up and are in the comments section that really make the show interesting. And so if we've gotten any success at all, it's just been trying to take care of the people that show up every week. We have a great community that, regardless of who's on, whether they've promoted it or not, hopefully they have, but whether they have or not, people are showing up, and that's just a testament to the community that we've been able to develop and put together. And it's been awesome because they show up and they ask questions. They're having their own side discussions in the comments, and it makes it interesting to participate. Yeah. It makes you want to be a part of the show because there's so much out there. There's 1,000 different lives going on. There's so many different social media channels. So why is anybody tuning into this thing on LinkedIn? Because people are showing up and they're making it a place where engagement is happening, much like being a part of master networks and getting into a meeting where people are showing up and they're engaged and they want to be interactive engagement with the other people that are in that session.
Yeah, I mean, I really thank you for, I just love the fact that, and you recognize that we're all in this together, and that So our different ways we're moving in and out of, whether you want to call it networking, I really like to call it like something more like plugging in, because I look at this as a giant electrical grid. And so you might come to chapter meetings, to kind of your way stations to plug in, right? And you plug into an idea, or you plug into something that's, or person, a connection, and then you're going out into your, your other grids and all the other things. All this electricity is going and moving, and momentum is moving. And I don't think that people understand that it's like you have to look beyond just the, people that we know that are transactional will come and be like, oh, I need a referral. I'm like, okay, that will come, but think about exponentially if you collaborate. Think of the people you've had on your show that you may never have met if you hadn't come and saw, even join Master Networks, right? And then we switched over quickly to Zoom. And then you were taking everything you could learn from, everyone. Go ahead, Cameron.
Let me say this, because that's such a great point. And this is the power of the master connector over here. So we have Steve Spiro, who has a tremendous number of connections. And in November of 2020, I think I had like 2,500 connections on LinkedIn, which is good. I mean, there's nothing to snuff at. But in the short time of doing this show with him, from what I was learning on the show, from the noise and attention of the show, I moved from 2,500 connections to over 4,000 connections. And so that's kind of what our intention was with the people that we were inviting on the show and the people that are coming into the community, to teach them how to expand and grow their network. So I can testify to it that it's worked for me. And I think that the beauty of partnership, because I know one of the big reasons we wanted to come on here was talk about partnerships that are developed through Master Network specifically, but just the power of partnership.
Yep.
I've certainly brought my elements to the show, some technical know-how. Steve, I'm getting notifications one after the other. He's inviting people. Our partnership works because we both put something into this. So if I have any advice for somebody, if I have any advice for anybody on partnership, if you want your partnership to work out, put the work into it. There's nothing I probably wouldn't do for Steve, because I know how hard he works on his end.
Right.
And he's always raving about it, but I know how hard he works. I'm like, how can I keep up? How can I do more to keep up with him? And that's how our partnership really, really works together, because we're truly taking care of each other.
And that just goes to, again, I don't mean to interrupt, Tina. That goes back to the culture of Master Networks, right?
I was going to say the same thing.
It just goes back to the culture. Like, we want to lift people up and help people out. And it's not just, it's those relationships that you work at, right? Because look, every time you have another face-to-face, you learn more about somebody. And the more you learn, the more you want to learn, and the more you want to help people, right?
Absolutely. And I was going to say the core values of relationships, but beyond that, it's constant improvement, which is what you found. It's it's a contribution. So you're contributing your 100%, and accountability is your how you do one thing is how you do everything. And then you get the results. Steve, I want to go back to you. What do you feel like you've gotten out of this collaboration?
Nothing. Just kidding. No, it's been tremendous.
I knew he was going to say that.
It's been a smarty pants.
It's honestly, I alluded to it before, just working with Cameron, and some of my technical skills have grown from a standpoint of, he's kind of coaching me through how to be more effective on LinkedIn. And, I've learned a lot about, capitalizing, leveraging the event page and inviting on that side of things. And now I'm learning about StreamYard and what I could do on that. So he's really been great with that, and patient with me. And because I have some technical side to me, but I could also be a little bit thick with other things. I don't know, somehow. But, even just, on communication skills, and, he's like, Steve, you need to get a green screen or something. Like, you can't have the Venetian blinds, 2 windows behind you when we're doing live broadcast. And, he didn't say it straight up, but he wore the suit and tie and the pink shirt all the time. And I'm like, all right, I got to step on my game and at least put on a blazer. So just those kinds of things. And, Steve, and he was very polite with great, people skills, but like you may want to avoid the right? Like I just did, right? Avoid the as much as you can, and and all those kinds of things, right? And so it's been just tremendous from that perspective, and being ready and able to be able to speak and articulate. And then just just the idea of collaboration, right? And how we've been able to work together. And there's there were for me, he wanted to speak to me like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, okay, here it comes. He's going to break up with me. I'm thinking he's going to break up with me because I'm thinking, to me, Cameron is, and I don't mean that in a weird sense. I'm married. I'm not talking about that. You know what I'm saying?
No, we understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm like, I got this superstar I'm working with, and I'm like this just Joe Schmo guy, and I'm like, and actually it wasn't that at all. And he said he feels bad. I feel bad too, because I'm like, this guy's doing everything, and yeah, I do a good amount, but I feel like he's doing more. So we worked it out, right? Where I've stepped up my game in some areas. And so just to answer your question, the learning has been in the collaboration and how to work better, in partnership like this. And now we're learning and thinking about, okay, how are we going to monetize this experience? And there's a learning in that. A lot of good stuff. I mean, this has been a tremendous experience. And just want to just mention something, Tina, you said, connecting, plugging in. You didn't say connecting, but that to me, that's what we're doing here. We're connecting with people, right?
Yeah.
And whether it's that's why I like Master Connector versus Master Networker, right? Even though that would have been really cool for the Master Networks kind of brand.
You could wear the crown.
Yeah, but anyway.
But I just want to mention one thing. So I am, for some reason, not seeing who is commenting. I'm just.
So we got Vivian. We got Vivian, right? We got Vivian London Crooks in the comments. We got Christian Newski. We got Tim Colson, who we were just talking about earlier. Steve.
Yeah.
All in the comments.
Tim is awesome.
We love you.
And then who can you guys see who says I agree? Master Network has been such a big contributor to my. Vivian. Thank you, Vivian. I really appreciate that. Sorry, the reason I was not ignoring you, but I wasn't sure who. Just says Facebook user.
I'm on Facebook too. I'm master of all the buttons. Remember, so I got Facebook up live, and I see them over there.
I just want to mention one thing, Tina, when you were talking before. The other thing that I feel like what we've been able to do, and what Master Networks brought to the table, and is really when we were in this dark place as a society going through COVID and thick of it, Master Networks allowed us to be there and connect with people, and what Cameron and I have also feel in a similar way, how we can really connect with people. And it's not just sitting in your dark, little dungeon, behind a computer, but you're actually able to connect with people and make a difference and touch people's lives. And I think that's why I think we resonate so well with Master Networks, and we resonate so well together as a team in regards to the Master Connection series.
Well, I mean, I have to tell you, you guys are definitely become friends, and I can't thank it enough. Stephanie, I'm just going to ask you, what do we say, and what are you always saying?
Listen, I think I'm gonna coin this phrase. At Master Networks, we don't just do business together; we truly do life together. Right? So this is just a testament of the two of you, how, you've created this great thing on LinkedIn, but how you've built your own relationship together to be able to do that, right? You couldn't have done that without the relationship. It wouldn't have worked the same way.
And this is a special kind of twist to the story. So we talked in probably like January or February of 2020. That's like one of the first times we did like a face-to-face virtually. We, were on meetings. We came on BizDev Live, but we hadn't actually seen each other in person in real life until June or July of this year.
At the picnic at your house.
Yeah. So I had people over my house. First time I'm seeing this guy, and it's so funny because I'm like, I must have seen him before, must have seen him in person before, right? But so it's just been a testament to what you put together, Tina, everybody that's doing their work in their chapters, because Steve certainly didn't feel like a stranger as he was walking up, and that's something that's really special about the ability to come together and create these kind of partnerships. And I think we have to, as a society, as business folks kind of understand that a little bit more about what it means, what does a handshake mean versus, having some sort of relationship, uh, because you can know somebody physically and they can be a disaster. You could know somebody online, it can be great. Vice versa is true as well. But
Yeah.
what does it mean to create a good relationship? What are you looking for? We're going to be doing a show on September 13th on emotional intelligence, and I think that's a
Yep.
big part of this whole piece, right? Understanding where
That's
people
fantastic.
are and what the relationship is. So those kind of things, that's what our show is about, how to connect. Those are things that really are meaningful in terms of your business. I can tell you from running a business for 10 years, the fact that I don't have more partner employees or partners, period, in the business to help me run it. I know Tina can speak to this a great deal, and having all the folks all the people that she's voluntold to step
Voluntold, yes.
to the business, how much of a help it is in growing and expanding
Yes.
what you're doing. Yeah.
And relationships about communication. That's how you get the trust. So I do want to make sure that before we get out of here in 1 minute, that can you put your, I know you have the LinkedIn Live, the next one starting on Monday, the 13th of September at 1. Is there, how do we connect to you guys? Do you have a particular, LinkedIn profile for that? How does that work?
Yeah, I think for me, you just go to Steve Spiro on LinkedIn, and I think you'll see this ugly mug, and you'll know it's me. So just connect with me if they're not connected already. I do have a YouTube page, a Master Connector. I'm not big on the other social medias. You could also go to stevespiro.com. I have
And you
Now,
have
is
a
that all on your
QR.
QR
I
code?
was going to say the
it
QR code.
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if somebody doesn't know how to do that, you take your phone, especially a smartphone, and you go to, don't actually take the picture, but open up your camera. It should bring you right to a link with that. Cameron, is there any way to contact you? Can we BizDev Live? You have those someplace? Because
Yeah.
you have an archive, right?
So one of the things that's really great about creating a YouTube show is that it's great for SEO, search engine optimization. So if you go to Google, you go to YouTube, type in Cameron Toth. I'm fairly easy to find. If you type in BizDev Live, I encourage you to find the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. That would be amazing for both Steve and I, because we host some of the videos there, and we'll be doing a little bit more work on YouTube to make sure that we got the Master Connection series in a special place all of its own. But for now, BizDev Live will really appreciate you and subscribing there, and subscribing on YouTube's Master Connector channel. And just find us both on LinkedIn. Steve Spiro on LinkedIn, very easy to find. Cameron Toth on LinkedIn, very easy to find. We want you to truly connect with us and engage. That's really the big deal. Set up a one-to-one. We'd love to meet with you. We'd love to talk with you. Who knows? We may be hosting a show with you down the road because of a meeting that happened. Who knows when, right?
You
So
never know. You
just
never
connect.
know.
Yeah.
Just
Thank
like
you guys
this.
for sharing your
Thank
story.
you. Thank you. So interesting. Really respect both of you so much. Everything that you've done, how you've both, and people go, oh, we don't like that word pivot. But you know what? I think the word I have for this year has been adapt. So we pivoted, now we're adapting and we're moving forward. And I thank you for helping us to keep the momentum with the region going, with just your help to others and your support of others is so appreciated. Thank you for coming on. We really appreciate
Yeah, we
it.
have to, before we go, we got to definitely promote the White Plains chapter. So Steve Spiro is a star member of the White Plains
Absolutely.
chapter, Friday, 8 a.m. And I am the president of the Mount Pleasant chapter. So come by and visit us in Mount Pleasant at 9 a.m. on Thursdays. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah,
And
they can
I
find.
am the chapter president of the Carmel
There you go.
chapter on Wednesdays at 5, and we'll get you over the hump.
There you go.
And listen, if anybody's really interested, I put the website for the region in. So it's www.masternetworksnyct.com, and you can find our chapters on there. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate Steve, Cameron, and Stephanie. Thank
It's
you.
an honor.
Thanks,
you.
guys, for coming. Have a
Thanks.
great day, everyone.
Thank you.